Did you know that your brain starts shrinking by about 2% every decade after age 30? But there are 5 specific minerals that can actually help reverse this process and dramatically reduce your risk of Alzheimer's after 60. I'm talking about simple, natural nutrients that most doctors never mention, yet studies show they can be more powerful than any prescription drug for protecting your memory and keeping your mind sharp as you age. In fact, women who maintain optimal levels of these 5 minerals are 73% less likely to develop dementia. And today I'm going to share exactly what they are and how to get them naturally through foods and safe supplementation. Before we dive in, if you're a woman over 40 who wants to age with clarity, confidence, and a razor-sharp mind, please hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is all about giving you science-based, natural solutions that actually work, without confusing medical jargon or expensive treatments. When you subscribe, you're taking the first step toward protecting not just your memory, but your independence and quality of life for decades to come. Here's something that might shock you. By age 65, 1 in 9 people develops Alzheimer's disease, and 2/3 of them are women. But here's what the medical community isn't telling you loudly enough: this isn't inevitable. Your brain health isn't just about genetics or luck. It's about giving your brain the specific nutrients it desperately needs to repair itself, build new connections, and fight off the inflammation and toxic buildup that leads to memory loss. You see, our grandmother's generation didn't face this epidemic like we do today. Why? Because their soil was richer in minerals, their food wasn't processed, and they weren't exposed to the same level of toxins we face daily. But we can fight back naturally, and it starts with understanding these 5 critical minerals that act like bodyguards for your brain. The first mineral that's absolutely crucial for preventing Alzheimer's is magnesium, and I call it the brain's best friend. Think of magnesium like the oil in your car's engine. Without enough of it, everything starts to break down. In your brain, magnesium helps clear out toxic proteins that form the plaques associated with Alzheimer's. It also helps your brain cells communicate properly and supports deep, restorative sleep, which is when your brain literally washes itself clean of harmful waste. Here's the problem though: nearly 80% of women over 50 are deficient in magnesium, and most don't even know it. The early signs are subtle: difficulty falling asleep, muscle cramps, chocolate cravings, or feeling anxious for no reason. But over time, this deficiency can contribute to serious cognitive decline. The best food sources of magnesium include dark leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and dark chocolate. Yes, you heard that right, dark chocolate. Aim for at least 70% cacao. But honestly, it's really hard to get enough magnesium from food alone because our soil is so depleted. That's why I recommend a high-quality magnesium supplement. Look for magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate, and start with about 200 to 300 milligrams before bed. Many women tell me this alone transforms their sleep and mental clarity within just a few weeks. The second mineral is zinc, and this one is like your brain's security system. Zinc helps regulate the production of amyloid beta, which is that sticky protein that builds up in Alzheimer's patients' brains. When you have adequate zinc levels, your brain can actually break down these harmful proteins before they cause damage. Zinc also supports the growth of new brain cells and helps maintain the connections between them. Women are particularly at risk for zinc deficiency because we lose zinc during menstruation, and absorption decreases as we age. Plus, if you've ever taken birth control pills or hormone replacement therapy, that can deplete your zinc levels even further. Signs of zinc deficiency include slow wound healing, frequent colds, loss of taste or smell, and that white spots on your fingernails. The best food sources of zinc include grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, and cashews. If you're vegetarian or vegan, you'll need to be extra careful about zinc because plant-based sources aren't absorbed as well. A good zinc supplement should provide about 15 to 30 milligrams daily, and here's a tip: take it on an empty stomach for better absorption, but if it upsets your stomach, take it with a small amount of food. Now, the third mineral might surprise you: it's copper. Most people think of copper as something that's harmful, but the truth is, your brain needs copper in just the right amount. Think of it like Goldilocks: not too much, not too little, but just right. Copper helps maintain the myelin sheath around your brain cells, which is like the insulation around electrical wires. Without proper copper levels, the signals in your brain slow down, leading to memory problems and cognitive decline. Copper also works hand in hand with iron to deliver oxygen to your brain cells. When brain cells don't get enough oxygen, they start dying off, which is exactly what we see in Alzheimer's disease. The trick with copper is balance. You need it to work with zinc in the right ratio, about 8 parts zinc to 1 part copper. Good food sources of copper include organic liver, shellfish like oysters and crab, dark chocolate, nuts, and seeds. Most women get enough copper from food, but if you're supplementing with zinc long-term, you might need a small amount of copper too. Just be careful here. Too much copper can actually increase your risk of cognitive problems, so work with a knowledgeable healthcare provider if you're considering copper supplementation. The fourth essential mineral is selenium, and I like to think of it as your brain's personal bodyguard against free radical damage. Selenium is a powerful antioxidant that protects your brain cells from the oxidative stress that leads to Alzheimer's. It also helps remove heavy metals like mercury and aluminum from your brain tissue, which can accumulate over time and contribute to neurodegeneration. Here's something fascinating. Areas of the world with selenium-rich soil have significantly lower rates of Alzheimer's disease. But here in the United States, our soil is quite deficient in selenium, especially in certain regions. Brazil nuts are by far the richest source of selenium. Just 2 Brazil nuts a day can give you all the selenium you need. Other good sources include wild-caught fish like tuna and salmon, organic eggs, and sunflower seeds. If you choose to supplement with selenium, be very careful with the dose. You only need about 200 micrograms daily, and too much selenium can actually be toxic. This is one mineral where more is definitely not better. The fifth and final mineral that's crucial for preventing Alzheimer's is iron, but here's where it gets tricky for women our age. Iron is essential for carrying oxygen to your brain cells and for producing neurotransmitters that keep your mood stable and your thinking clear. Iron deficiency can cause brain fog, fatigue, and memory problems that can be mistaken for early dementia. But here's the catch: after menopause, many women actually start accumulating too much iron because we're no longer losing it monthly through menstruation. Excess iron can create free radicals that damage brain cells and increase inflammation. So with iron, you really need to know your levels through blood testing before you start supplementing. If you're iron deficient, the best food sources include grass-fed red meat, organic chicken, wild-caught fish, spinach, and lentils. Always pair iron-rich foods with vitamin C to improve absorption. Think spinach salad with strawberries or lentil soup with bell peppers. If you need to supplement, work with a healthcare provider to monitor your levels closely. But here's what ties all of these minerals together, and this is so important: they don't work in isolation. Your body is incredibly smart, and these minerals work as a team to protect your brain. Magnesium helps you absorb calcium properly, zinc balances copper, selenium enhances the antioxidant effects of vitamin E, and iron needs copper to function properly. This is why I always recommend getting as much nutrition as possible from whole foods first, then filling in gaps with targeted supplementation. And here's something else crucial that most people miss: you can have all the right minerals in your system, but if you're dealing with chronic stress, poor sleep, or high blood sugar, your brain still won't be protected. These minerals work best when they're part of a comprehensive approach that includes managing stress naturally, getting quality sleep, eating anti-inflammatory foods, and keeping your blood sugar stable. Let me share a quick story that illustrates this perfectly. I had a friend, Maria, who was 58 and starting to worry about her memory. She'd walk into a room and forget why she went there, couldn't remember names of people she'd known for years, and was terrified she was heading toward Alzheimer's like her mother had. Instead of just accepting this as inevitable, she decided to take action naturally. She started with getting her mineral levels tested and found out she was severely deficient in magnesium and zinc, and had too much iron. She began eating more mineral-rich foods, added the right supplements, improved her sleep hygiene, and started a simple stress reduction practice. Within 6 months, her memory was sharper than it had been in years, her energy was through the roof, and her annual cognitive screening showed significant improvement. The beautiful thing about this natural approach is that when you nourish your brain properly, you often see improvements in other areas too. Better sleep, more stable moods, increased energy, and even weight loss. because your brain is finally getting what it needs to regulate your appetite and metabolism properly. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I know if I'm deficient in these minerals? The truth is, standard blood tests don't always show the whole picture, especially for minerals like magnesium that are stored mostly in your cells, not your blood. But there are some signs you can watch for. If you're experiencing brain fog, memory lapses, difficulty concentrating, trouble sleeping, frequent infections, slow wound healing, or unexplained anxiety, these could all be signs of mineral deficiencies. The good news is that when you start eating more mineral-rich whole foods and addressing any deficiencies, you'll often notice improvements in how you feel within just a few weeks. Here's my practical recommendation for getting started. First, focus on eating a variety of colorful, nutrient-dense whole foods every day. Think dark leafy greens, nuts and seeds, wild-caught fish, grass-fed meats if you eat them, and plenty of vegetables. Second, consider getting comprehensive mineral testing done through a functional medicine practitioner who understands the importance of optimal, not just normal, mineral levels. Third, if you do decide to supplement, start slowly and work with someone knowledgeable. Your body needs time to adjust, and the goal is always to support your natural healing processes, not overwhelm them. And here's something I can't stress enough: consistency matters more than perfection. You don't have to completely overhaul your life overnight. Start with 1 or 2 changes, like adding a handful of pumpkin seeds to your salad every day or taking a high-quality magnesium supplement before bed. Small, consistent actions compound over time to create dramatic improvements in your brain health. Remember, every choice you make is either supporting your brain health or working against it. The beautiful thing is that it's never too late to start taking better care of your brain naturally. Your brain has an amazing ability to heal and create new connections throughout your entire life when you give it the right support. If this information has been helpful and you want to continue learning about natural ways to protect your health as you age, please hit that subscribe button now. I'm constantly sharing science-based strategies that actually work, without the confusion or expensive treatments that most women feel pressured into. And speaking of protecting your brain naturally, next week I'm going to share something that might completely change how you think about preventing dementia. Did you know there's one simple daily habit that Harvard researchers say can reduce your Alzheimer's risk by up to 65%, and it has nothing to do with diet or supplements? It's something you can start doing today, costs absolutely nothing, and most women over 50 are doing it completely wrong. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss this game-changing information that could literally save your memory and your independence for decades to come.